Yeah, and I see when you can make an impact, especially with the older kids. Yeah, she came over and asked me for my autograph, and it caught me off guard, and because I was getting ready to work with a student, and she just came up with a piece of paper and slid it across the table and said, "Can I get your autograph?" Yeah,
Wow.
Turn it up, turn it up, turn it proud, turn it proud. You locked in, thinking out loud. Yeah, mic check, new thought on deck. Big brain talk, cut through the noise, no stress. From the couch to the car to the crowd, we flip one small spark to a whole new sound. Got questions, we press them, address them. Laugh, learn, level up, that's the blessing. Every topic on the table right now, welcome to the wave. Thinking out loud. Let's go! Thinking out loud, say it, don't hide it. If it's on your mind, we gon' talk about it. From the first idea to the last rundown, you tune to the show, thinking out loud. Thinking out loud, ride that vibe. If it's on your heart, we gon' let that fly. Turn the volume up, shake the whole town. You rockin' with the show, thinking out loud. Hey!
All right, guys, we are back with the talented and gifted woman of God, Stephanie D. Sanders. She is our guest on this week's edition of the Thinking Out Loud radio show. We're so happy to have her back. She's been on the show several times, and she always has something going on. She has been working on projects. She shared with us in the first segment, catching us up on some of the things that she's been doing since the last time she was on the show. But in this segment, we want to talk about her acting career and really bring you guys up to speed on the actress Stephanie D. Sanders, because she is an accomplished actress. And I mentioned before the break that she has her own IMDb page. And I want to just ask Stephanie, what is the significance of an IMDb page when you are an actor or actress in Hollywood and trying to really break out there and get acting jobs? What is the significance of that, and how important is it?
having one is very cool because you can have information out there about the projects that you've been on and or ones that are coming out when you're doing films and television and other projects like that. When they sign up to put that information onto IMDb, then other people can come and they can see. It's just like a virtual resume, so to speak, with film and things like that, that you can actually see what people have done or what they are doing, something that may be getting ready to finish, and they can see your picture. Sometimes if they put it out there, but it's really like a virtual resume in itself with film and things like that. So it's just another way for people in the industry and other people to see you out there and what you're doing. Because you can't necessarily hand everybody your resume, but they can go there, especially if they're signed up. They can go there and they can look and see what you're doing or have done in the past, and or who are the directors and things like that you've worked with, or production companies. A great resource for them to do that. They can also get that type of information and more at times through some of the other casting sites that are used a lot, like your casting networks and casting.com, and then Actors Access. Those ones, they can also get a lot of that information too, because it gives you an opportunity to really put that resume information on there. If they're signed up already and they're looking at and casting people, like when I said before, like submit. If I'm submitting through casting networks or whatnot, they can go right on that page and see the resume that's there that I
Mm,
have listed, and you can just run that information down for them, what you've been doing, you
wow.
know. And so same thing with Actors Access too. So they're really great because you can leave your resume there. You don't have to send it in. Like
Right.
before, we might have had to mail it in or bring it in. Ooh, I'm so glad we got out of that right there. A lot of going out to auditions, because this way, because of COVID, and then some of the people have been doing it already, but the COVID thing really put it in perspective for us to submit virtually. We can submit anywhere in the world virtually. If you sign up under, because you can click on certain regions in the United States and so forth, and those castings and whatnot will pop up, but it'll be only for certain areas and states at that time. You can always click back and go to another one or go to your regular one. So you can submit anywhere and whatever they want, and they can communicate with you back and forth immediately to send you a message, and then you get it if you need to do something different or whatever. So it's been super, super helpful to do it that way as opposed to limiting us, so to speak, to only be able to do certain things where we can actually drive in there to the audition, or some people may have to fly in there, depending on where it is. So that's a great way for us to get that work out there, get those jobs in other states, other cities, and whatnot, and not really limit ourselves unless you just want to, because you can do that. You can do that too.
And it was interesting. As you were talking, I wanted to ask, is the IMDb page a requirement when you are pursuing an acting career? And in conjunction with that, are you a member of the Academy? Is that correct? At the actor, as the Actors Guild or the Academy? How does that work?
The union.
The union?
No, at this
Okay.
time, I'm not a part of the Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild.
I'm not a part of the union side of things, but all it pretty much takes is someone that maybe doing a SAG project to bring you on, which can qualify you or get you some eligibility. And so, but you have to look at the requirements that they have for you to be a full-fledged member, and then you have to pay your dues and whatnot to get in and continue to pay those as well. But like I said, being in the union with those projects that come up, that commercials and whatnot, the zeros are different. The zeros are different. Somebody told me that, but I was like, hey, when the zeros, even with the non-union projects, they're still nice as well when you think about it, and just what we may get paid or whatever for one day of work. So that's very helpful. Of course, you pay your commission to your agent if you got it through them, but if I have done a direct submission, then I would not have to pay a commission to an agent or
Your
whatever.
agent.
Yeah, but you have to remember to pay the taxes on the end.
Right. Okay. I'm learning a lot myself. I'm sure those that are listening and even watching us on our YouTube channel, Thinking Out Loud Radio and TV show, are learning as well. If you are enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button. Let us know that you are tuned in to the Thinking Out Loud Radio and TV show. And if you like the video, hit that like button and leave us a comment as well. We always would love to hear from you. I know you're enjoying my conversation with the multi-talented and gifted woman of God, Stephanie D. Sanders. We're talking about her acting career in this segment of the Thinking Out Loud radio and TV show. Stephanie, share with us some recent projects that you've been in since you've been on the show.
I've done quite a few commercials,
Okay.
and recently was cast to do two independent films this year. At Home for Christmas with Mama, and then also Mask Required. So I'm definitely studying on those to be done, recording and so forth. At least one in the fall, and the other one probably in the early part of next year. So I've been working on that to get that material in my head. So when they call and say, Stephanie, okay, we need you on this and this day. Okay, so I can be ready.
And so when that happens and you're cast for a film, for example, how does that look? How long do you shoot? Do you have to be available whenever they call you? What if you have a 9 to 5 job? And how does that work when, when you're called away to film or shoot for a movie? How does that work?
For the independent projects, they will more so work around some schedules, it depends on maybe if you're in a lead role or whatnot, and then everybody else, you pretty much have to go with the flow, so to
Mm,
speak. But they'll tell you initially ahead of time of when they're thinking of starting shooting, when they're looking at being finished, estimate of how many days you may be on set, pretty much based off of your character and so
okay.
forth. So they'll work with you, especially independent filmmakers. They'll do their best to work with you because they know a lot of us are still working the 9 to 5, but they know that they want to get this project done too. But everybody has to really just work together, work
Mm,
together. So there may be times where it's not always as convenient for you or whatnot. And even like with commercials, but they're with like major companies, corporations, and things like that. So they pretty much tell you what day this is going to happen. And you can see it when in the casting post, you can see when they're doing the auditions, when they are looking at shooting and what days or time frames. So you want to think in your mind, is this something that I can do? Is this some time that I can take off? Do I have personal time or whatever to take off and do it? And then that's how that works. Now, some of the bigger films, more with the studios and that type of a thing. Same thing with the commercials. They will tell you when they're going to be shooting, when you need to be available. So they'll give you that time to get what you need done, but you have to pay attention to whatever they're telling you because you simply have to be available when they
right.
tell you that. But when you look at whatever the project is, when it is, where it is, how much it is, and that type of thing. You can know for yourself, is this going to be something I can do? Is it going to be something that will work for me? And you just pay attention. You just pay attention. I call you right back, mommy. My phone's over here buzzing. That's my little mama calling, so I'll have to call her
Oh,
back.
okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much how it would work. They will tell you their time frames, and then you have to think to yourself, is it something that you can do, even if it is a work day for
Mm,
the week?
okay. That's interesting. I want to find out from you because you, again, we're focusing on the Stephanie D. Sanders, the actress in this segment. Who are some actors or actresses that you've maybe modeled yourself after, or you think about when you're preparing for a role, I'm sure, or you look up to or want to be like, or you might have in the back of your mind as someone that you want to aspire to be like. I'm just curious to know who might that be.
I would say definitely ones that I like and have admired over the years would be Angela Bassett
Oh
and
yes.
Denzel Washington, Don
Oh
Cheadle,
yes.
Forrest Whitaker,
Oh yes.
Samuel Jackson,
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon, Julia Roberts,
I mean, yeah, those are some heavy
Martin,
hitters. You said Martin.
Martin, and even Will. I love when they do those movies together, Martin and Will. I love the connection, the combination of the two personalities like
Right.
that. The other people, there's just a certain grace, and I want to say elegance and about them that I feel connects with me. And as an actress coming up, also
That's
having
amazing.
certain morals and values that I want to stick to. So they're like powerhouses for me, especially the first couple
Oh
that I
yeah.
mentioned. I
Angela
just,
Bassett, what's love got to do with it? When she was the famous
uh,
Tina Turner. I'm telling
Tina,
you. Yes.
matter of fact, I just did an audition. I probably will do that audition and post it somewhere of one of the, it wasn't like a full blown monologue, but it was a piece from Forever that she
Oh.
done. And I did it several months ago, but I did it maybe about 2 weeks ago. And I dressed the part and everything with my own clothes. and it came off very nice. I feel like, and I was like, I feel that like that, and it wasn't over the top. I wasn't all over the place, but it's just a power in what she does, and such a passion for the material that she does. It's not just we just out here just whatever. And same thing with Denzel. You can just feel that emotion
Yes.
from him when he does certain things. And I got that same sense one time, not just one time, but there's one monologue that I did for a project that I was doing with Keith Williams called War Up. And that monologue, that scene, that whole scene was just powerful for me. And that's the power I want to be able to exude every single time. And that's what I work towards, embodying that character to give it however it's supposed to be given, and maintaining my morals and so forth when I'm doing
Right.
those things as well. Because I can't just do and say anything.
No, you can't.
There's a spiritual thing about that for me. Whatever God puts out there for me to do, that's what I'll do and or create. Thank you.
That's a great approach to that. And all the actors that you named, Denzel, Angela Bassett, Samuel L. Jackson, Forrest Whitaker, those are all my favorites. Don Cheadle as well. I was getting ready to mention Michael B. Jordan because he's
Oh my
another.
gosh. And
Yeah,
the boy, Black
the
Panther,
Sinners.
Lord, why does his name elude me right now? And I see his face. The young man who passed. Black Panther.
Like, oh yeah, oh
This is crazy.
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick, come on.
Yes, Chadwick
Just, oh
Boseman.
my gosh.
Yes, those
Just his,
two.
my gosh. His
Yes,
delivery throughout the entire thing was just great. Just wonderful.
it was.
It was just so believable. Just him,
Yes.
just him,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah,
and
that was a
Michael B.
powerful
Jordan
movie.
too. Yes.
Two great actors, and definitely Chadwick Boseman gone too soon. He really brought that character Black Panther to life.
Yes, my goodness, yes. I
Yeah, he did.
loved it.
I
Loved
did
it.
too. And I mentioned Michael B. Jordan because he recently got an Oscar
Yes.
for the best actor Oscar. And I thought it was interesting that after he won, he went to the In-N-Out
In and Out Burger.
hamburger. Yeah.
I would do something like that. I would do something like that. We have this place here called Fred's Market. I
Uh-huh.
would do something like that and
You would do
just go
something
in
like
there
that
and just go in there and go right up to the buffet
with your
and
Oscar.
it with the Oscar, take pictures with people in there, and then sit down and have a nice soul food meal.
I can
You
see
know,
you. I can see you doing
I
that.
would do.
I
I
can see
just
you doing that. You said off air that you wanted to win an Oscar, and so I can see you doing that because you're a very down to earth, personable person,
I
and
would do it.
no airs, none of that. I'm sure you be taking selfies with everybody
Yeah, I probably would even go to the school or a school that I have worked
that
at,
you
be
work
like,
at.
hey, the kids and the teachers just
Right,
because they
right.
actually the school that I'm at now, they actually got an opportunity to see some of the things that I did because matter of fact, I was on the Great American Teaching this year. It's my third time doing it. And I got to speak to nine or 10 of the classrooms on campus. So I took a video and I took the material here that I'll show you later. And I showed it to them because they would see me working in the classroom, but they didn't know that side of me. And when I showed it to them, they just loved it. They loved it so much so that the next time that I came in class, one girl asked me, this was in the older grades. That's why I was like, wow, yeah. And I see when you can make an impact, especially with the older kids, yeah. She came over and asked me for my autograph. And it caught me off guard. And because I was getting ready to work with a student, and she just came up with a piece of paper and slid it across the table and said, can I get your autograph? And I looked up
Wow.
at her. Yes, you can. So I signed the paper, and that set off the entire classroom. Everybody started coming over. They were ripping little pieces of paper It was a pack of paper behind me on a shelf. They were grabbing paper and sending it out. And I'm just, okay, okay. Little bitty pieces of paper. Oh, I'm gonna put this, what this, I said, I'm putting this on eBay. I was like, okay, okay,
Wow.
yeah. But that was a really great experience to have that type of an impact on them. And they're like, wow, I received it.
And even taking, so if you ever got one, I'm sure not just taking it to the Fred's restaurant, as you said, but even taking it to your school. And because exposure is such a powerful thing for young people, exposing
Mm-hmm.
them to the success that you
Mm-hmm.
want them to experience and for them to be that close to an Oscar statue. That I'm sure would inspire so many young people to want to do anything. As we get ready to go to break, I'm reminded of something that I read in President Obama's memoir. He was talking to his wife Michelle about why he wanted to run for president, and you would think that some of the reasons would be to obviously be the most powerful man in the country and sometimes even in the world, because
Mm-hmm.
you are the leader of the free world,
Mm-hmm.
and or to be able to even right some of the wrongs in history, or do something significant in this world, in this position. But his explanation, or his reason for running, was to be able to show young black boys and girls that there is someone in the White House that looks like them. And I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was powerful. And I mentioned that because exposure is what it's always been about. Whenever we accomplish anything, it should always be about how can we how can we empower the generation that's coming up behind me? How can we share what we have experienced with those young people who are coming up behind us, so that way they can see what they can be.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to see that and be able to see themselves in that same light, or see
Mm-hmm.
themselves at the resolute desk at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You know what I'm saying? I just thought about that, and what you're doing, even as a teacher, is helping this next generation of young people see themselves in a different way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it was doing, because they saw a whole different side of Miss Sanders. And even after that, there were a couple of them that, because I was inspiring them to do well in school, for one, and then have your reasons why you want to do and be certain things, and asking them what they wanted to be and why and stuff like that. A couple of them came after that, and they'll slide by you. They might not always want everybody to hear what they're saying. They might come, yeah, listen, I got A's and B's and da, da, da. And they'll show you certain things or tell you certain things that they're doing or working on, just to let you know, I heard you, I'm
Mm.
doing this, or I'm doing something along the lines that I wanted to do that they might have told me. Because sometimes, like you were saying, people think that everybody just wants to be successful or be an Oscar winner or whatever, just to be flashy or this, that, and the other. And I even had uh, someone asked me here recently, like, how much notoriety that I wanted. I said I wanted to be an Oscar winner, yes, and other awards as well. But that lead to that. But I definitely would love to be that, because there's other reasons that I want that type of notoriety and those connections and things like that for other projects, other things that I'd like to do, and then being able to help some of the other people that I know and see are doing certain things, and help them, and help a college student who's trying to go and get their films done or whatever, be in something with a college student to help them in their project. Just pop up and help them. But there's other reasons that people have. We all have our reasons for it. I know different reasons that I want to do and have that type of level, because you have to think, even on your job, you get raises, you get bonuses, you get different titles as you continue to move up. It's no different. Acting is what it is. Singing is what it is. That's why they have the Grammys. There's levels to those things. And it just brings that thought home of, girl, you did that. You did that. Yeah, you got it. So I just leave it like that when people tend to think, oh, it's just about having a lot of money and being successful. Yeah, those are byproducts of it. But don't you want to be successful on your job? Why are you go and apply for a supervisor job or a manager job or even take the job if it's offered to you? There's different levels to things, and you should never want to just be complacent only this. No, there's a little bit more we can do on each level. You don't have to want the same things, but you don't necessarily have to just stay in the same place just because you think that's the most humble thing to do. God can use anybody on any level. It's just your heart and what you want to do with that when you get there.
That is so true. Guys, I know you're enjoying my interview with this multi talented actress and singer and songwriter and lyricist and author, Stephanie D. Sanders. She is with us as our special guest on the Thinking Out Loud radio show. We're going ready to take our last break. But when we come back, we're jumping back into my interview with this talented woman of God, Stephanie D. Sanders. Don't go anywhere. You tuned in to the Thinking Out Loud radio show. We'll be right back.